a while now, but I just had this massive delivery from Elevate Luthiery in the USA, and I didn't want to waste an opportunity to do an unboxing video because there's a lot of tools here and a lot to get through, and I thought it would be some good content, so I thought I'd just make a channel now. Just give a quick introduction to myself. My name's Jonathan, and I'm the owner of Croft Customs, and I make handmade acoustic guitars in the south of England. I'm new to Luthiery, but I've been building for a couple of years now, so slowly building up my skills and tools to build some really great guitars. So who are Elevate? Well, Elevate are a CNC/Luthiery company that specialise in CNC machine tools and jigs for guitar making. They make some of the best tools in the world for this, and I thought it would be a good investment for me to help my guitar building progression. So we've got a lot to get through, so let's just jump right into it. So here we go, got my scalpel. So it's been a long wait for this delivery, being it coming from America, and been putting it off for a while because it's a lot of money to spend. I don't want to get into it because it's kind of painful with the import costs and whatnot, so I'm going to try and avoid that. So this is the rolling pin sander. This was actually the first tool that Elevate made that caught my interest, as it's well, it's one of the first tools they made, to be fair. Well, that I noticed anyway. And basically you attach this to your electric drill, and this allows you to get perfect flat sides with for prepping for binding. So when you're routing your binding channels, you want the sides to be square to the edges of the top and the back, and this is the perfect tool for it. It's solid like as a rock. I got an extra 80 grit paper, and I also got the 1 inch diameter, I won't unwrap it, but 1 inch diameter bung for doing this is for like close quarter, you know, like on the heels and of the of your neck, and also to do like flutes and stuff like that. That's what I'm looking forward to using it for. So yeah, this is one of the main tools I wanted to get. It's got the nice little logo on there, so that's really cool. I'll pop this down here. This tool is the Fingerboard Locating Jig. This is used to perfectly, it's designed to take the guesswork out of aligning your fretboard onto your neck for glue ups. The jig easily and accurately locates 2 different ways, via the truss rod slot or by the clamping straight onto the tapered edges. And this is achieved by either the including truss rod center pins, or by using the built-in articulating clamps, which are these. These are really cool, as they slide up and down, and they go either side of your, oh, undone that, go either side of your, oh dear, your neck and clamp. Just undone that a bit too tight, and I do believe I've got a pack of pins. Yep, these are the nylon pins that will locate onto your neck, on the top of your neck, and then will also so you pin them into your neck, and then they locate into the fretboard. So dead easy for doing glue ups if you're one to take your fretboard off in between routing the side, you know, the sides, getting them flush with the neck, and you need to like still access the truss rod or something like that. This is perfect for that. So they've done an incredible job on this tool, and I'm looking forward to using this one. See how shiny it is. It's just really lovely polish, or it might just be the machining marks themselves are just really well done. Here we have the neck bolt counterbore. Now the neck bolt counterbore is easily to give you access to the bolt-on neck hardware from the outside of the instrument. So basically, when you look inside a guitar sound hole, you might see the bolts that, if it's a bolt-on neck, you might see the bolts protruding out of the heel, or the head block, and that's due to when you do bolt on the neck, you cannot really get access to that heel block to sort of flush drill the or flush counterbore the bolt heads, and it just makes it look a lot more neater when you look inside, when they're a bit more flush rather than them just sticking out of the heel block. I quite like this idea. It just finishes things off and gives it a little, you know, professional look. Here we have the dock locator. This is a really fancy little tool. Same sort of thing with the Fingerboard Locating Jig. Jig has these articulating clamps that clamp either side of your fretboard, and this aligns onto your fret slot. So I don't know if you can see there, those two protruding pins. They've got different size on both sides of the. This is made out of I think it's 316 stainless steel. As it's a machine puncher has used caution while handling. Yep. So basically, what this does is this locates into the slots of your your fret slots either side. So imagine like that, and then as this bearing guide fits into the slot, into the hole like that, you can then get a perfectly centered guide, and you lock these into place, and you can drill your fret markers. So this is a 1/4 inch fret marker gauge. Tighten these up. Really nice tool there. Here we have the dot doctor. This is a really fancy tool. I've got the see there, 2mm for drilling your side inlay dots. Now you basically pop this underneath your fretboard before you glue it onto your neck. Although you can do it the other way, if you haven't radiused your fretboard, you can pop this on top same way, and you can use some shims to sort of pack it up to get to the right height, and it gives you a really simple way to using this bearing guide to drill your dots. And I do believe I have a depth stop somewhere. Yeah, oh no, here it is, a little depth stop, to say that right. It's just so you don't drill too deep. If you've got if you're using pit rods, I wouldn't worry about it. If you're using those tiny little inlay dots, then yeah, you want to get the right depth, and then you basically use like a chisel just to flush them down, and then a little bit of sanding. And to go into junction with these tools, I've got the dot drillers. I've got one for the your fret markers on the top, and one for the side, and these are really neat little tools. They go into your pillar drill, and if you're using material, so I've got the 2mm to use for the dot doctor, and I've got the 1/4 inch to use for the top fret markers. Pop this into your collet of your pillar drill, and if you're drilling into shell or pearl or stone, it's not recommended for metal, but you can you drill in the part you want will be inside, and you use this ejector attachment. It'll basically pop out your inlay dots, and so you can make your own, which I like to do because they don't give you a lot of variation online. Usually it's just abalone pearl or mother of pearl. I like to mix mine up with maybe some copper tube and fill it in with some, I don't know, some resin or something like that. So it just gives me more options. And I wasn't going to get the top, the 1/4 inch one, because I don't usually do a lot of fret markers, but I thought, see as I got this and the dot doctor, get the whole lot, and that way I've got plenty of options of what I can do for customization, because you never know, someone will come along and say, oh yeah, I want some fret markers, and then to match the side dots, and you know, just gives you that option. So I'm glad I eventually went with that. Last tool of this box. This is a definite must-have. This is your variable M&T or mortise and tenon drilling jig. So if you're like me, if you ever join the neck to the body and you find out the holes in the head block don't line up with the hardware in the tenon, then that's the exact problem that this tool, this M&T drilling jig, solves by using precision stainless steel drill guides, which are located in, they come out the side. You can do ones for if you're using barrel drilling, you're using like the barrel threaded inserts that go on the side of your tenon, or if you're just like me, you just drill straight through and bolt onto some inserts that are inserted onto the tenon of the neck, then you will never miss. You'll get lined up perfectly. And I'm terrible. I have terrible inaccuracy for lining up with a hand drill. It always wanders and it always goes wrong for me. So this is a must-have for me. So definitely glad I got that. And then what's just left in the box is just drill bits, centre punches, and truss rod guys. That's basically for the used for the fingerboard locating jig. Just slot into the on the top, and that will line up with your truss rod. So you can either use that or the clamps either side. So that's that. Let's move on to the next box. So onto the second box. Excited about this one. This is some of the bigger jigs in. That I'm quite excited about. So here we have the neck angle jig. Very nicely made. Basically this jig, it turns a common 6x48 stationary belt sander into a neck setting tool. No large or bulky jigs required. Simply attach the jig to the belt sander and use the adjustment knobs to set the pitch and the angle of the neck. So it's built-in to built-in lock-in knobs for your settings while sanding. These knobs also make it easy to tweak settings to get a perfect fit. So I wasn't actually going to get this jig as well as one of. I wasn't really quite sure, but because I've got the M&T drilling jig, the variable M&T router jig, and everything that's enables you to set the perfect neck, this coming with it, this will literally finish it off, and I would have no issues with setting my neck. Everything will just, it's just really comforting to have everything all working together. Tom Sands does a great video about, he calls the holy trinity of guitar building jigs, and he goes through 3 or 4 different tools from Elevate Luthiery that shows you how to set the perfect neck. So go to his channel and check that out. But yeah, I will need to get a 4-inch wide belt sander and this sander to complement this jig, because I don't have one at the moment. So I will take this to the store when probably Axminster, and then that way I'll be able to see which belt sander will fit best with this jig, because I'd rather have this as being the main thing and having this fit to a sander rather than finding the other way around, you know, finding a tool that fits with my sander. This is the main thing I want, so glad I got this in the end. So here we have the variable M&T routing jig. I'm glad I held off on making my purchase of all the Elevate tools, because this only recently came into their stock, and the variable part meaning that you can have gives you a range of adjustable mortise and tenons to route to your body and your neck. Which if I was going to do a ukulele or you know, just a smaller body guitar, gives me that option. So I'm glad I waited out to get this. So this will attach to here with those bolts, and it gives you, you've got a centering line that centers to your body. So your sound hole will be here in the center of the body, and then you would angle this onto the top of your guitar body, getting it nice and flat. And it's a really nice jig to use, because I use a I've got a jig from LMI for doing my routing, and it is literally huge. It's made of plywood, and unfortunately during the climate I live in down in the south of England, and having no insulation caused it to go very mouldy and breaking down. So this won't happen with this. This is perfect, and I can use my Bosch Colt router with this, no problem. I did get a the flush bit router bit as well to go with this, so it's really nice. So I'm glad I waited this out. It's a bit more expensive, but it gives me that option that if I decide to do UK, which I might do in the future, I think that'd be quite cool to do. We go on with this. Now this is the last major jig. This is the ultimate binding jig. So you will mount this in your vise upright like this, so to your eyes if you were facing like that. God, this is really nice. Oh, and you would mount your router to here, so your cutter will flow through here and your body will run, and you adjust the height of your where you want your binding to go. The beauty about this jig is that it's very small. I do have another jig that you mount to the table and you move the body around, and it takes up a lot of space. This literally just mounts to the corner of your vise and you're not taking up any room at all. And with the other jig you have to buy bearing guides to different shapes and sizes to give you an offset cut, and sometimes you might not have the right I have a whole range of them, and sometimes it happens I don't have the right bit to go with it to get the right depth of and width of my channels. So this, I believe underneath here or in between there, when you move it down, you can sort of like set the thickness of your bindings to that, and it will give you the exact depth of cut, which is very good. I did get the extension bit here, so again if I'm doing a smaller body guitar like a ukulele, this base extends all the way across, and they have this new donut which is, I believe, radiused. Don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's slightly radiused. That comes with all the latest Ultimate Binding jigs. You can buy it separately if you do have an older version. Let me just show you what's left in this box. Yeah, the stuffing. So, flush trim cutter, locating pin for the variable router jig. As I said, this is that extension bit. I forget what it's called, but it means, yeah, you can do really small body guitars if you're doing electrics as well, which is really good. A couple of cutters. Obviously, you get one standard with this jig, and I bought an extra one, just saves on delivery if I run out, and that's your that's also for your variable MNT routing jig. So that pretty much wraps it all up.